Thank you, illustrious Brother Evans. Most worshipful brothers Watson, Latanner, Right Worshipful Brother Shirk, Most worshipful Brother Jones. It's a pleasure to have all of you here today on this very, very important occasion. I am humbled to have this opportunity to speak to you about one of the outstanding Freemasons of the 20th century. Earlier today in Pastor Vincent's invocation, which set such a good foundation for this observance, you learned a little bit, just one brief look into the life and the legal career of illustrious Brother Thurgood Marshall. And that truly was just a glimpse. Certainly there are those in this audience who may well know this history and biography much better than I. But as I had a chance to read and learn a little bit more about him, as I had learned a brief bit in school, I learned that his dedication to the civil rights arena may well have been shaped by an early experience that he had. He was a good student as a young man, came from a good family, and determined that he wanted to go to law school. Living in Maryland, it was very logical that he go to the University of Maryland, which was in fact not far from where he lived, so it would be very convenient. So he went through the course of applying, and this, of course, would have been probably in the late 30s or 40s. Unfortunately, he was advised that it just might be best if he pursued his academic career somewhere else. So he turned to Howard University, an excellent university in and of itself, and that's where he obtained his law degree. And then some years later, as an attorney, I believe in private practice, he was approached by a young man, also from Maryland, also an African American, who wanted to attend the University of Maryland Law School, who was also told it might be best if you pursue your academic interests elsewhere. Well, by this time, there had developed certainly a sense of pride within the African American community, and among other talented lawyers, one Thurgood Marshall had had a chance to practice law for some period of time. So when this young man approached him about seeking redress against the University of Maryland, as you can imagine, he took that case. Not out of vengeance, but out of an interest in making things right. And while he won many cases, and I'm certain that wasn't his first victory, it had to be among his proudest victories when he was able to, for another young man, win that case against the University of Maryland, the very university that had denied him the opportunity to attend its law school. He was able to afford to another young man some years later. As we all know, of course, he went on to a distinguished legal career in private practice as a staff attorney for the NAACP, then as the Solicitor General for the United States, the Chief Prosecutor on behalf of the United States, and then through his appointment by President Lyndon Johnson in the 1960s to that very, very important seat on the Supreme Council. Many things happened in the 1960s, of course, that led the way for the victories that we have seen in civil rights. But I really wonder if anything was more significant in that entire area in opening doors for our African American brothers and sisters than the appointment of one of their brothers to a seat on the Supreme Court, which determines, of course, the law of this land. And of course, as you well know, he served many years as a distinguished justice of that Supreme Court. It's interesting to note that while, of course, he was the first African American to be appointed to the Supreme Court, he became the 41st justice of our Supreme Court who was a Freemason. Nearly a third of the justices who have served on that court have been members of our great fraternity. I think that says something not only about the fraternity, but about our system of justice and about the leadership that we have seen over the years. You know, when thinking about who we might name as the inaugural honoree of this program of recognition of our African American friends and the wonderful heritage that they provide in this country, it was not difficult to come to the name of Thurgood Marshall. Not only, of course, has he been recognized as is proper by our Prince Hall brethren as a 33rd degree Mason, some, of course, believing that to be the premier distinction and honor to be accorded a Freemason. But even before he came to our fraternity, he was quick to say on many occasions that he attributed much of his early success to the moral and spiritual and even more importantly, the financial support that Prince Hall Masons provided to him in his early efforts to identify and try cases of intolerance and injustice. And so even before he became one of us, he recognized the importance of Freemasonry. Much as our good friend, Brother Leslie Edwards, one of the original Tuskegee Airmen, did this morning. And I just wish all of you, particularly my brothers who are here today, and you, most worshipful Brother Jones, could have heard this brother speak from his personal experience and recognition of the importance of Freemasonry in the African American community and how it communicated so much to the people of that community about the goodness of a man who was a Freemason, about the strength of his character, about his God-fearing goodness in the way he raised his family with love and discipline and was truly recognized as a valuable citizen in his community. So, again, it was not difficult for us to consider Thurgood Marshall for this special honor because he stands for everything that Freemasonry is, says, and does. Thus, we are honored today to name illustrious Brother Thurgood Marshall, 33rd degree, the inaugural honoree of the Springfield Masonic Community's African American History Program, and have his portrait on our Wall of Fame dedicated to outstanding Prince Hall Freemasons. Illustrious Brother Evans.
Thank you. At this time, I'll ask Brother Strong, and do you want the Grand Master to help you unveil it?
Most worshipful Brother Watson, most worshipful Brother
And
Jones,
yourself?
and Jerry Guess.
Okay. Grand Master. This time we'll unveil the portrait of Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall, which will hang on the wall of honor in your Hall Masonic. Okay, at this time we have proclamations from our elected officials, and first we'll have the proclamation from the Springfield City Commission. Commissioner Joyce Chilton.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. I guess I'm supposed to be giving this to you. Yes. Yes. Thank you. It reads, whereas after years of exclusion from military flight training schools, African Americans were granted permission to participate in 1939 when Congress passed a law calling for a major expansion of American armed forces. As a result, the 66th Air Force Flying School was established at Tuskegee, Alabama. Later, all-black flying unit, the 99th Pursuit Squadron, came into being, and whereas in June 1942, 5 pilots graduated from the Tuskegee program. One classmate, Benjamin O. Davis, Jr., later rose to become the country's first black general. Tuskegee Airmen, and other rigorous trained pilots and support personnel were recognized as an elite group, largely college-educated and highly motivated. And whereas Americans can be proud of records made, some still standing, which impressively demonstrate the patriotism and courage of men of the Black 332nd Fighter Group, a combination of the 99th, 100, 301, the 301st, 302nd, and their custom-painted red-tailed P-51s. They destroyed and damaged enemy planes, sank a German destroyer, and was awarded 100 Distinguished Flying Crosses, and in March 2007, the Congressional Gold Medal. And this reads, now therefore, Warren R. Copeland, Mayor of the City of Springfield, Ohio, and President of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim January the 28th, 2011 as Tuskegee Airman Recognition Day, and urge the Springfield citizenry to show the utmost respect and appreciation for the outstanding success and courage of these airmen. For it was these attributes which led President Harry S. Truman to sign the executive order in 1948, officially ending racism, segregation in the United States Air Force. And our Mayor Copeland has witnessed his seal, and we're presenting this today to Jerry Guest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've got a perfect place for this, too. Thank you very much.
At this time, we'll have proclamation from the Clark County Commission and Vice President John Dietrich.
I would just like to thank everybody. This was a very spectacular program, and to the Tuskegee Airmen, my hat's off to you. I have a new goal in life. I want to be half as good a speaker as Mr. Feaster from Xenia is. Everything's been said that's in my proclamation except for one thing. Whereas over 16,000 men served as Tuskegee Airmen during World War II. This is signed by Commissioners Rick Lonis, Commissioner Dave Hartley, and myself. Thanks for everybody that's here today.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, City and County Commissioners. At this time, we'll have remarks from the representative of the Grand Master, C. Michael Watson, the past Grand Master and current Grand Secretary.